Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the zoo. The minions with me this evening are Adam.
Au revoir. Wait.
He wasn't anticipating me going for him first. He muted up the moment that I sent it live. Jen?
Well, it's technically bonjour, but
Yeah.
hello.
That's the word I was looking for.
Just don't make the mistake of saying buongiorno, because then you're in Italy.
So, better food. Here?
Yes.
Here, this is when you say hello after I say your name and I'm in.
Oh, I did. I thought you were talking to Jen. She said you said better food, and then she said something, and I didn't hear my name. Okay, well, hello.
And of course, as it is once again a Friday, and it is not the first Friday of a month, I am the keeper for this evening, Sanguine. How are all three of you doing tonight?
Buongiorno.
He's not wrong about the better food, though. I don't dislike French food. It's just I do think Italians did it better, and they stole.
Overrated.
Yeah. I give them credit for a lot of their gardening, and I mean that. Like, we wouldn't have half as many potatoes if it wasn't for the French, but I like spaghetti honest, better.
Well, we wouldn't have French if it wasn't for the French, so that's a huge demerit for me.
And it was one of the top reasons why Hannibal decided to cross those Alps.
Yep, it's fucking French and the Italians.
He heard about the food. He stopped by France and he was like, ooh. And he was like, yeah, those mountains, nothing to it. And then he went to Italy and he was like, yeah, I'll stay here for a little bit.
He'd have fucking won if he looked back. Like, how the fuck do you not cover your retreat? How? Tell me how.
Let's see if I can do this.
Dude, okay, have you ever had a nice, thick Italian dinner? You're not doing shit afterwards. You're done.
You're just hungry, you just want to eat.
Bro.
So the other thing that I did last week that made me very, very proud of myself, never give me information, assume that I'm not going to use it. But I actually found out about the sale like a year ago, but I didn't realize how nice of a bridge it was. But you guys bought the OG London Bridge from England back in 1970. Yeah. Don't confuse it with the London Tower. Everyone does that.
Okay.
And we slapped it in the middle of a landlocked state.
Yeah, Arizona. Really? It's surrounded by palm trees in Arizona.
Yeah.
We had the original London Bridge.
Yeah. And
I got a picture of it on my avatar.
Brick by brick. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks gorgeous though. Like,
but isn't this so you know the ship of Theseus of Theseus, right?
Yep.
It's the ship of Theseus. Like, is it really the same London Bridge?
No, yeah, it's the original one. And it also dispels the joke. I have a bridge in the middle of a desert to sell you. Well,
the only part that isn't the original bits for it here.
They're like the statues are in the front or something.
That were broken got replaced. But I think for the most part, the bricks that were broken got cemented back together, and the mortar.
Okay, but you know the ship of Theseus paradox, right?
Yes, where over time every bit is replaced. And at what point in that replacement is it no longer the same thing?
And if you rebuild it with the original part, the pieces, is that also the ship of Theseus?
No.
It is, isn't it?
No.
Then I guess that's not the real London Bridge. It just has the bits.
What?
Well,
no, because the stone hasn't eroded.
It's not the ship of Theseus problem. Are you saying if you had the ship of Theseus in its original creation, and then you took it apart, and then you put it back together, would it still be the ship?
No. The ship of Theseus. If you replace every part with new parts, when would it stop being the original ship of Theseus?
Well, that would be true here, but they didn't do that here. Like they really autistically took apart piece by piece the bridge, and then systematically tagged every piece, and then systematically shipped them all to Arizona, or they put it back together
in the same exact configuration with all the other bricks. Like I said, the only parts that weren't the original bricks and weren't the original bits were the mortar was not the same mortar, because once mortar dries, you can't re-mortar it. You have to make new mortar. So the mortar of the London Bridge in Arizona is not the same mortar as the London Bridge when it was in London. The bricks are the same bricks.
Yeah.
It isn't new bricks. The bricks are the same bricks.
And maybe any replacement. But for the most part, yeah. And I get what you're saying, Tier, because of the whole, like, you know, you're replacing parts of the ship that get damaged or eroded. But no, this is purely the stone for stone, the bridge.
But we can't say London Bridge is falling down.
Well, to be honest, that would have been a different bridge anyway, entirely.
Tier,
I know
do you want to
joke.
hear the
I know
real
your
reason
joke.
why they saying London Bridge is falling down? Listen to Adam Jones here.
Oh, Lord.
It was the plague.
It was the plague. I know.
Well, no, that bridge had been gone for a really, really long time. I wish they'd rebuilt that one, but it wasn't really. It was never logical to begin with. Like, they tell you that. like it wasn't like one time falling into the sea. It was multiple times falling into the sea. But,
well, that's because it was functionally an entire fucking town on a bridge.
Yeah.
It really was.
But I actually love this because I think this is the better way to preserve something. They were going to just dump it. They were going to tear it apart and dump it.
You've heard it here first, people. The better way to preserve things. Take it apart, brick by brick, move it to Arizona, and reassemble it in the desert.
Listen, if it wasn't for Dr. Jones, we wouldn't have this bridge in the desert. It belongs in a museum.
Again, I say we get a supervillain and he just starts stealing landmarks and a fucking Stonehenge and just puts it all on a fucking island.
That's not the supervillain. What you're saying
Ben.
is you just want Carmen Sandiego to be real.
Well,
yes, I want Carmen Sandiego to be real. Okay.
Okay, but is it you want her to be real to steal ancient historical artifacts, or you want her to be real to be a waifu?
Both. Yes.
Okay.
Both. Have you ever seen Carmen Sandiego?
Yes, sir.
How have you
in that red coat?
Hell yes. She'll steal your hat, your clothes, and your heart.
I still think
not
my old buddy. I can see my old buddy TC and Batman fighting me on the Big Ben, but it would be absolutely hilarious if you hid that in New York or something.
you know,
if you're doing a Big Ben fight, are you going to completely reenact the? Damn it! What was the mouse version of Sherlock Holmes?
The Great Mouse Detective.
Yes.
Oh yes. So long, farewell.
Wow. I remember that one. You're just a common sewer rat.
Rat.
Ratigan.
That was a good movie. You know, it
was.
It got a lot of flack. That era of Disney got a lot of flack for it shouldn't have. But.
Well, they've always, I'd say for the last 15 years, they've been shit at marketing.
They've been shit at fucking
everything.
Their job.
Yeah.
You had one job, Disney. Entertain the kids.
Hold on. Hey, did the Donald Duck Hot Ones get released?
Well, it's okay. If I even go back to my childhood with Disney, there was so many movies that I can think of the top of my list where they were actually really good movies, but somehow between not marketing them very well, or maybe it just. Sometimes they release them at the bad times. If you're releasing certain movies when you've got bigger hits, people are going to go see those first. But
I know one of the movies that you're thinking of, just from the way that you're describing this, and it was entirely intentional.
I wouldn't be surprised with them. Sometimes they just do stuff and why?
Because the one movie that you're probably thinking of, given the way that you're describing shit, is... Are you thinking Treasure Planet?
Not just Treasure Planet, but it's there. It is there.
But that's one of them, right?
Yeah, because it was so visually pretty. The music was okay.
Treasure Planet was intentionally just allowed to wither because Disney was in the process of doing the massive transition from traditional cartoon animation
Yeah.
to computer drawing.
CG. They had, and sorry, the torch sound is me searing off my lovely filet mignon. So
Okay.
they had the old art crew, as well as the old writers and the director for a bunch of their other works, that they also wanted to be part of doing the storyboard and shit like that for their new works. But those people had made a deal with Disney that they would do X number of films, and then they would be able to do one that they were legitimately passionate about.
Yeah.
And Treasure Planet was their passion project. So Disney didn't like it because it was using traditional art when they're trying to go over to CG.
Yeah.
And they also didn't like that they had been just absolutely fucked by their own contract.
Okay.
Because they didn't have the ability to tell them, no, you're going to do this in this way. Because the contract was, we do these movies for you, then we get to make a movie as we want to make it, about a topic that we want to make it. They were trying to go away from sci-fi at the time. It went hard sci-fi. They were trying to go away from traditional animation to use CG. They wanted to do traditional animation. They were trying to do just a shit ton of different transitions, and the movie was a fuck your transitions movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney, in response, they didn't really advertise the movie. So normally Disney movies, you start seeing adverts for the new Disney movie months ahead.
Yeah. Like toys, McDonald's, all that shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
They start marketing the ever-living shit out of it. So you know that, oh yeah, this summer there's going to be a massive Disney movie. And it's supposed to be really damn good because you'll hear everything about it. You'll hear how much it is innovating and how much shit is going into this movie and the different voices and all that. You'll hear everything to get the hype up so that when it comes out, people go to it. Treasure Planet was advertised like 2 weeks. And it wasn't every movie had an advertisement in front of it like most Disney movies. Because again, you'll have a Disney movies coming out in summer.
Yeah.
In spring, you'll see every movie that you go to, and every channel will be talking about in the summer of blah, blah, blah. Join us on the adventure. And you'll have those amazing old Disney adverts. They didn't do any of that. It was like 2 weeks before the movie came out. They went, by the way, there's going to be a movie.
See ya.
Bye.
Yep. That's so typical of them. They're so petty. They've always been, and I wonder about that for other movies. Like, okay, I always come back to Oliver and Company because it's actually one of my favorites because of the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I fell in love with that movie, but it just never seemed to really hit anywhere. And I was like, well, what's wrong with it? Like, it's got the best parts of New York, which is cool American stuff, cute characters, and yet again, the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was just, brushed under the rug. I'm like, so what was involved in here that you guys didn't like? Who's a petty bitch this time?
What it could have been, what it probably always is somebody didn't grease enough palms.
Yeah.
Or somebody wasn't going to get a major cut of the profits.
Because,
like,
you
know how Disney... hold on. You know how Disney is killing... because Disney didn't own the rights to the X-Men, they tried to kill off the X-Men in the comics and make the Thunderbolts, the Inhumans, the new X-Men, because they couldn't make movies off of it. So we'll just kill it off and switch to these people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually what it is. We can't make money off it. You can't. They couldn't do that shit to Spider-Man, but they fucking tried. They really fucking tried with Spider-Man.
But yeah, for the Treasure Planet movie, they had a lot of well-known names in the industry that were in it. And yeah, it just was purposefully left to just wither. Which is such a goddamn shame.
What's another one they left it with her? Fucking Black Cauldron.
Yep.
Black Cauldron was a good one, and the reason why they let that one die was because they felt it was too dark for a kids movie. But it was just the right kind of dark.
And one of the other movies that came out a bit before Treasure Planet by like 2 years, it wasn't Disney letting this one to wither, but it's a movie that didn't get the recognition that it I think deserved. Titan AE.
Oh, well, yeah. All right, with Titan, I think you could have built a whole fucking franchise around Titan. You could have connected that to Treasure Planet.
Oh yeah,
and had a franchise around that shit.
It was a good movie. It wasn't an amazing, like, oh my fucking god, the experience of the movie. No, it was a good fucking movie, though.
Well, there's also this tendency of Disney to ignore entire franchises because of minor embarrassments. One of the ones I'm going to come back to is The Rescuers, right? It was
The Rescuers Down Under.
Well, there's two movies. There's the first one and the one Down Under. It's the first movie that they complain about because of a short, like, 5-second clip that nobody noticed for 20 years. You know?
Oh, the naked woman in the window?
Yeah, some weirdo put that in there. Like, no one noticed that.
Well, Disney. All right, so and if you look in the Little Mermaid, there is and there's two penises actually. Well, there's a penis and a dildo. If you look at the box art, if you look at the castle of Atlantica, there's dildo there, and then the guy giving the bone a priest. But they do shit like that.
Okay, hold on. You guys are talking two different, like, the track went off two different ways. There's the downfall of the animation studios and the animation unit in terms of quality or viewership in the movies, and then the weirdo shit that's hidden in the films. You know, I wouldn't mind talking about either of them, but yeah, no, those are different things. The animation didn't fall off because they added the weirdo shit. It was like the Rescuers didn't go do well because of the story. People weren't attached to the. It was again, that was another dark type of movie.
With the Rescuers, what happened was it didn't do well originally, but then it did well in the aftermarket.
Yeah, when they started doing the videotapes.
Yep, and there were other instances where Disney would see that and go, oh, let's go back to that. But about the time that they would have considered, oh, let's go back to that, see what we can do with it, was when people started going, hey, did you see the naked woman in the window? And that was enough to make Disney go, maybe let's not remind people of that.
And that's why I think they're mistaken on that. Like, yes, it has that. Yes, I know some weirdo put that in there, but the part where it did become marketable is where I'm at. I actually think they could have revisited that one with Disney Plus, like made a short TV show based off of it, because it's an opportunity to travel the whole fucking world.
Yep.
You know, it's such an open world for them in terms of storytelling, and it's based off of mice. So, you know, the mice travel the world and meet different mice in different world. It's such an open thing to do.
Well, they kind of did that shit with fucking Minions. Despicable Me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't hate that. I just think that once you get to Despicable like 8 or 9, that's where I'm at. I'm like
shit. What is Lambert? I know Lambert 4 Time has a shit ton of fucking.
I acknowledge none but the fur.
Well, no. If you're looking for a continuance of the story from a past series, one of the shows that keeps popping up, and from what I see, is the remake of DuckTales.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they really did a good job of revamping the old characters, the old storylines, and connecting it back to the past series. So
all right,
it's not like it's not like you can't do this. It's feasible. It's just we're seeing a lot of lazy people who think they can just pinch off a loaf and expect it to be the next fucking
it's also movie. It's also people that I wonder if they ever really grew up with children or with the franchises in the first place.
No,
and I understand, like, Disney's been on this trend of let's hire people who aren't fans so we can try to get them to bring in people who aren't fans, and I'm like, please stop.
Jen, can you do me a favor? I say this with a lot of love. I want you to stop campaigning to not get Acolyte a second season. I want to see Disney burn.
That's not what that said.
I want to see Disney burn, Jen. I need you to stop campaigning, okay?
Oh, you want them to bring it back so they can? No. See, I'm about helping them waste money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bring second season.
But no. They're not going to waste money if they're already working on a show they already have set up. They're going to waste more money if they have to set up a whole new other show.
Oh, no, Jen. No, Jen, trust me. They will waste far more money giving the Acolyte a second season. Think about it. They spent $180 million on a 8-episode, 30-minute long season.
Yeah, I know. That even their own fans didn't watch. Yeah, I noticed that.
so again, Jen, let them burn.
Oh, I do want them to burn.
Pissed off that Robert Downey Jr. is able to get like 90% of the show's fucking budget to be Doctor Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Because he's a box office. All right. What's her? I don't fucking Amanda, whoever the fuck she is. Who played the twins, Osha and Aisha, or whatever the fuck their names were, is a nobody. Who fucking knew her name before she started this shit?
Mm-hmm. I'm also kind of like, why didn't they just hire twins?
That's another thing that boggled my fucking mind. Why didn't they hire actual fucking twins instead of having her pull double duty when she can barely act?
Like, if you want to know the place to find the most twins in the world, go to Hollywood.
or here's a novel idea. There are paternal twins and there are maternal twins. Guess what they should have made?
Not maternal, identical. All twins are maternal.
Identical, fine. But they could have made them paternal twins. And they could have been, they're twins. They just don't look like each other, They're fairly close. No.
Hell, they could have even gone the very rare route tier where one of them is white and one of them is black. That does very rarely happen, but it happens.
Oh, should make one albino. You should make the evil one albino. There you go. That'll fucking spit in that craw.
But yeah, it's a lot of that with Disney. Like, it's the same with the Snow White movie. Yes, I don't.
They should cut their losses.
It's like, yes, I don't want to see it because of Snow White. I think she's a bitch. But the other reason I don't want to is the creepy CGI dwarfs have none of the charm of the original dwarfs. They just don't.
Fuck Dinklage for that shit.
Yes. No, don't fuck Dinklage. Know what you should do? you should shoot Dinklage out of a cannon and send him back to his the Lollipop Guild.
It's one of those things that I gotta tell the little people. When you're a kid growing up, you
make
do
sure
actually,
that you talk down to them.
No, when you're a kid growing up, it's almost a joy to see how many times you can recognize the same person from movie to movie, even when it's a little actor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I would follow people from Willow, all the way to Willy Wonka, all the way to Lord of the Rings. Actually, had some little people. Yeah,
shit, I didn't know Willow was in fucking Harry Potter until I looked it up.
Another example. It's just one of those things where you follow people through life, and yes, I know they don't. It's actually weird thinking that I the first time I ever saw the actor of Willow was as a character in Star Wars, as Teddy Bear, murders man-eating teddy bear.
Okay, are we sure that Ewoks ate people?
Yeah, we're sure.
Yeah,
we're positive they ate them.
Yeah.
Let's not spread accusations here, okay?
They ate patrollers, like in the movie.
No, they collected their helmets.
No,
they have a guy
them.
roasting on a pit.
What?
They were going to cook. They were fucking going to cook Luke and Han and them.
Like, there's a scene in the
that
background.
might have just been a threat.
I don't know if maybe
they
left it out, or because like the thing with Star Wars, and this is actually true. Like, if you bought different versions of it, like every time they release it, you would get like a package set. They did edit things, you know. So there's a background scene of one of them tied to a pit, and he's being twisted. He's being turned.
I don't know. That sounds like in the background of Wizard of Oz, you can see a hanging munchkin.
It would fit the theme of the movie.
He had a short life.
Oh, but a long rope.
Sure, long rope.
Let's see if I can get lucky, because like I don't trust the internet with sharing images anymore. So it's like,
you are fake news.
You are fake news, sir.
Trooper. Well, the problem with me is I'm not so Star Warsy that I remember the names properly. So I'm like Ewoks, Road Trooper.
You're also searching from Kanadistan, so we don't know if we're getting full searches.
Third movie.
She's searching from northern Cuba.
Shit.
The other problem too is half of these are edited by people, and that's why I'm like, if I post it, I'll be like, well, I know I saw this one. This one's old. Where do I even post these? Side chat?
This one's old like bones.
Oh, that didn't work.
I feel targeted.
Whoa! I just like your animations. What's that last one with the fire?
That was from Mystery Skulls. This guy does. Oh, they're a band, and someone is animating their songs.
Kind of wish they'd let you add more avatars.
You can't. You got a shit ton.
Yeah, but it's never enough.
Or you could do like I did. If you got OBS, you can just do a virtual camera.
Damn it, I can't find the bottle opener that I needed, so I'm going to go for a different drink. I'll have to figure out where the hell I put my bottle opener.
What was I about to say?
So, my drink is now going to become a mead rather than a barrel-aged cider.
Hey, nice.
Okay, so this was one of the scenes I remember. I'm using my avatar. I'm just cheating.
Yep. Yeah, they collected the helmets. They were definitely about to
the drums.
Roast the heroic trio. And there's other implications of them eating.
Okay, I'm going to change it one more time.
Yeah, but you know what gets me? I don't understand why people are so butthurt or so skittish that they were eating. They're fucking primitive savages. Of course, they're gonna eat a motherfucker.
Well, I mean, we even have people nowadays who have, like, even within the last 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
The most famous one that I remember is pretty much because of that movie about the airplane crash with the people in the Alps who ended up having to eat their fellow passengers. And, like, you know, like, the only thing you're doing is you're pretending that you're not. You're doing it so you don't die, but you're pretending that the entire time that you're not. Because that's the impression I got from the movie. Was that, yeah, we don't want to do this, but we don't want to starve to death.
But that was one of the things that led to the denial of one of the endeavors to find the Northwest Passage for as long as it was denied. Because turns out that most likely the attempt ended in cannibalism.
Well, okay, the attempt was probably to make to the climb site and back. I don't think the attempt was cannibalism.
Well, no, I'm saying the attempt to find the Northwest Passage, which is the northern pass between the Atlantic and the Pacific, ended up in cannibalism. Because they had tinned rations that were supposed to last them, but their tinned rations started to rot. They were on a ship that was a first of its kind hybrid icebreaker / long distance seafaring vessel. Didn't quite work out that way. They reached a point where they had the option of taking a left or right at this one island. I can't remember if they had taken the left, then they would have found the Northwest Passage, or if they had taken the right, then they would have found it. But they picked the wrong way. And perhaps most depressingly in that, there's evidence that at least a handful of them saw their fuck up before they died.
Yeah. Because
they went to the island that they had decided to take that left or right at. And there were campsites close enough to the shore that you would have been able to see which way to go from. It's fairly clear that they probably saw and realized, oh shit. And then there were, for decades later, rumors that a few of them had managed to walk their way out of the entire area.
Okay.
But by the time that they had gotten out of the area, they were half starved, half feral, and almost completely shattered mentally. So it was the natives in the area were going, yeah, we saw a white guy with a red beard. He was not a human anymore.
That's actually one of those curses that they tell you about, you know.
Yeah.
There's a native monster based off that.
The Wendigo.
The Wendigo.
Yeah. But I was gonna say the other thing that you could note on that one is because of other passages that are similar. So one of the things I was watching just before I hopped in Sanguine, so it's kind of convenient, had to do with the Franklin expedition, and they found
that's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, well, they found the body of one of the guys who passed away early in the expedition, and his body is so completely preserved from the permafrost that he's now a mummy. It's when you see a body like that you know that they were taken care of, but later on down the road, you start noticing that you're finding a lot less people or a lot less body of a people. That's kind of a good sign that something was going wrong.
It's also a good sign that he became a mummy. Does he know if it's a boy or a girl?
No, it's not that, Adam.
Waka waka.
When they explore ancient sites where they believe cannibalism happened, you can tell because of the bones.
Really?
If it looks like you were skinning an animal, it looks like you were skinning an animal. And humans, we don't look too different when you butcher us.
Ooh, them bones.
It's gross. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've never been in a position where I was so hungry that like the dead person next to me looked like a steak, you know? So
yeah, when they found later, especially after they had to abandon their ship that was completely frozen into the waters, there were evidence of skeletons that had tool marks on their bones.
yeah.
Oof.
That's why I said what I said, because like you don't go from a body that's now a mummy. Like you should look that one up if you get a chance to, Sanguine, because he's actually kind of amazing as a mummy. But that's what I mean. He was the one guy who might have been buried properly. And then it goes downhill from there because your resources run out, you know? Eventually your Christianity goes away too. I think that's the thing where you start eating people, you start turning into a Wendigo.
Yeah.
Look,
It's
survival of the fittest.
There's a massive taboo, and it is one that really fucks with people when they have to break it.
Yeah, I know.
I also don't think it's good for you. It's just, I know it's one of those things where, well, we have old studies about, especially not eating the brain. Like that one was a for sure, like don't eat the fucking brain.
Yeah, you get prion disorders.
But like, I know you see species in nature who do actually practice cannibalism, but we haven't been like that for a very long time.
Well, it's not. All right, I get why we
not so much for a very long time. We have people that are still doing it to this day.
True.
Yeah, there's this guy. He went to India, was talking to the cannibals, and they told him to shut the fuck up. He was going to be on the meal. I can't remember who it was, what the name of the guy was, but he ate human flesh.
Oh, you're talking about, wasn't it MotZ that ended up eating human brain?
I think it was. Like, all I remember is, like, him going there with the translator, and, like, he talked to the cannibal guy, and the guy told him to essentially told him to shut the hell up. You're talking too much. You know? And told him to fucking eat.
First rule of Fight Club: don't talk about Fight Club.
First rule of cannibalism: don't talk about cannibalism.
Yep. Even the guy telling you isn't breaking the rule. You know.
I just hope.
Oh no, it was Reza Aslan. That's who it was. It was Reza Aslan, not.
Oh, they should have ate him. They should have ate him. Sorry.
Reza Aslan.
I'm an asshole.
Was reporting for, or was doing a CNN documentary. I think it was a CNN BBC joint venture. And he went to India, met with a cannibalistic sect, and while he was there, he most likely ate human brains.
Yeah. I just don't like him because a lot of times when he's putting in his information, you have to really source out what's his actual opinion and what's the actual information.
Oh yeah.
He does good interviews. I find with a guy like that, I'm more interested in the person he's interviewing than him.
Though I do have to apologize because I did say it was Reza. Majid Nawaz, and he did a rather good job with the Chinese official that is effectively one of the official propagandists for the Chinese Communist Party. And he made it so that that guy was a laughing stock during the entire interview. And it was glorious. Because the guy tried to say, like, oh yeah, you're allowed to say what you want in China. And he went, well, unless you want to live and be free and do X, Y, Z, then you can't say whatever you want because you just said several of your friends have disappeared and been disappeared by the government. You said that we aren't ever going to see one of them again, which means you know what happened to him. A man that you say is your friend. And the entire time people are laughing at the propagandist because he's constantly admitting things while thinking that he's being clever about dodging questions.
Well, I mean, if he can dodge questions, he can dodge a dodgeball.
Then fucking Kamala must be a fucking amazing
dodge a wrench.
All she has to do is chug a bunch of liquor, Tier. You know, get her all nice and booted up, and eventually she'll slur through a sentence and get there. But she answered every question. Remember, she answered every question.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't. Jan, I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a single question.
Sure.
All right. Day fucking 1 of you being president. What are you doing? Go.
Afuero everywhere.
Afuera.
Yes. Afuera.
Sanguine. Day 1, president. You go.
I'd immediately consider what I can do by presidential order, what is not only something that is possible by presidential order, but something that is actually should be done by presidential order. Most of that will probably be reversing previous presidential orders. And I will start pushing in order to get the policies that I would have run on in order to become president instituted by the Congress. So it'd immediately be smoozing with the politicians who I fucking hate, as well as seeing what can be overturned through previous presidential orders that shouldn't have ever been presidential orders to begin with. One of them would be dealing with the freeze of ICE agents that has been instituted several times by different presidents and should have never been fucking done.
Adam, you, president, day 1, go.
He muted himself.
Oh, but you see how easy that was? You see how easy it was?
He's here. Adam, what would you do day 1 as president?
On day 1, as
you're reading the presidential briefing and seeing if there's aliens, aren't you?
Who is this person, and have him removed from this announcement speech. On day 1, first thing I'm going to do is make sure I take my administration to the one place that communism cannot reach it.
Space! Love Tim Curry when he does deliver that. The look on his face. The same way I'm about to show. I'm gonna give you a clip that just you need to play it for the people. Hold on, I love that one. Tim Curry gives best line.
Now I'll be realistic though. Out of the 4 of us, Sanguine's probably going to be the best person to be president. So I would probably end up throwing my hat in with him. But I'll make a deal with you, Sanguine. Just allow me to say a fuero every once in a while when you think it's appropriate. That's it.
Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to share this
So
with you.
don't put you... Or it's either do put you in charge of the Department of the Interior so that anytime that there's a forest fire, it just cuts to you. El fuero.
Fuero.
Or don't put you as Department of the Interior because it sounds like you're just going to be lighting forest fires constantly.
Well, I looked into a bit of that.
Wait,
I mean, I'll let you guys finish what
Yep.
you're doing, but I'll talk about that in a second.
Commander, you've rained on my glorious parade. For this, I'm sending everything I've got at you. But I won't let you have the satisfaction of catching me. I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
I love that line delivery. You can see the smile on his face when he said it. Yeah,
It is rumored that he was reading it right as he was filming it. So that chuckle was literal. Like, I fucking space. Oh jeez,
Tim Curry is a treasure.
he is.
yeah,
He's
because
still going, but he had a heart attack. I just had to look into that. Like, is he still? No, he's still recovering from a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
oh my,
No, yeah,
he's
Yeah.
70 Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do your best,
We gonna
sir.
lose
Like,
him
just
soon.
take care of yourself. I'll always admire what you did.
Tim Curry, you have a long and storied career. I hope nothing happened to you, cause sir, even if you were born British, you are one of us.
We
I
already
would
just
hate to
lost
fucking
Alan
lose you.
Rickman. We can't lose another.
Yeah, we did. I don't know. Holy shit, he was in he was a voice in fucking Dragon Age Origins.
Mm-hmm.
Who was he? I need to see who he was.
One of my favorite parts was him playing the butler in Clue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he was such a dirty perv. That's great.
And then, of course, there's Frankenfurter.
Yeah.
I'm just a sweet transvestite. Oh, he was Rendon Howe, really?
Mm-hmm.
How?
No, all right. So there's this character named Earl Howe, Rendon Howe, and maybe because he didn't have that many lines, I didn't really pick it up.
Oh,
Wow, that is fucking literally amazing.
Yeah, like I said, Tim Curry, fucking treasure. All of his roles are the highlight of what he's in.
Yes.
One of my favorites is in Clue the... Now, was it 1 + 2 + 2 + 1? Or was it 1 + 2 + 1 + 1?
you know what? I cannot take this anxiety anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The chandelier shops, dude. We should watch that movie. It's a
One
good
of these
movie.
days.
Such a good movie.
Yep.
Some of these days.
And during his reenactments, slapping her again, I had to stop her screaming.
Mhm.
And then he goes running away again. It's beautiful.
Dun, dun, dun.
Tim Curry, like I said, pretty much everything that he was in, he was fantastic.
Yes.
When he was the smog monster in Fern Gully, that
Yes.
was fantastic as well.
Hit me once. Hit me twice. Oh. Ah. That's tough. I don't think that was him singing though.
No, yeah, I think it's him. Toxic Love.
Mm-hmm.
No. I'm talking about Tim Curry actually singing that song.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was him.
Because I know Jeremy Irons did Be Prepared.
Yep.
I think it was Tim Curry singing it, because Tim Curry has done musical
Yeah,
theater.
Sweet.
I don't know. I think he did something like what's that?
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all him singing as well. I still find it hilarious that in all the versions of Rocky Horror Picture Show, thus far, there's still no one who's been able to have the range of Meatloaf. So they end up having to go falsetto.
Hop-a-tootie, rock and roll.
Yep.
Let's do the time warp, yeah. Sorry.
They have to change the octave, or they have to go into ridiculous falsetto in order to do the entire song. Whereas
Gotta get a good
Meatloaf
too.
just has that monstrous of a goddamn range. The dude's vocal range is ridiculous.
Yeah, but his acting range is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen him
Nowhere
in,
worse than Blood Rain.
Yeah, that's what I was about to bring up. Like, he was terrible in Blood Rain. Like, well, then again, anything Uwe Boll touches turns to shit.
Mm-hmm.
Uwe Boll is the Ed Harris, sorry, the Ed Wood of fucking video game adaptations.
With a professional boxing background, so he challenges all of his critics to a boxing match.
Yes, because that's exactly what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
You think my movie's shit? Get in the ring with me, bitch.
It's still not gonna stop me from thinking your movie's shit. Now I'm gonna be pissed.
He'll punch you in the head so many times you'll think his movies are great.
Ah, that's a clever plan. I didn't think of that. God damn it. That bastard.
I think it works.
Yes, I'm going to beat you insane.
Yep.
And you will like it.
I'm going to hit you with so many lefts, you're going to beg me for a right. Ah, I love that line.
Oh, no, all right. Oh, wait.
So, have you ever seen Invasion USA?
That was the Chuck Norris, right?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
I'm gonna hit you with so many lefts, you're gonna beg me for a right.
Mm-hmm.
and the best line delivery ever. It's time.
So, Invasion USA is an absolutely insane movie. It is like if someone took an ungodly amount of LSD, then watched Die Hard,
It said, hold my beer.
told to make a Die Hard about a small town in America.
No, it was more like they told, hold my beer.
Town.
No.
Starring Chuck Norris.
Yes. God damn,
Like
he's 84.
Yeah, the last standoff in it is Chuck Norris with a grenade launcher.
It's time. So I used to use that for my the intro to the Midnight Show as a opening.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have it do the whole. I love that movie.
Wait, no, it wasn't a grenade launcher. He had a bazooka.
No, it was a grenade launcher, and
It was a grenade launcher?
Yeah, he had the grenade launcher, and the main villain Mikhail had the bazooka.
Okay.
And he again. All right. Let me, because I love that little snippet. USA.
But yeah, it is such a gloriously weird movie.
Wait a minute. All right.
Hell, I think just showing the cover art for the movie is sufficient to get across how insane it is.
Here it is, same way. That. All right. Wait a minute. There it is.
Yeah, see, it's a tube launch. That's an old bazooka.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's time.
Yeah. So, both of them have different variants of bazooka. One of them, Chuck Norris, has the collapsible, easier to carry variant, whereas the other guy had the older, not collapsible variant.
But I love how he's searching for him, and he walks up behind him and goes, and he doesn't do anything, and he eyes wide open.
Yep.
Fuck.
And they're only like 30 feet apart. They're both fucking dead, except one of them's Chuck Norris.
So the explosion went all that way. Explosions don't hit Chuck Norris for a reason.
Mm-hmm. But the entire time, he's in a Canadian tuxedo.
Yes. Cat, I don't. Can I talk to my friends without you bothering me?
So do Canadians still know it as a Canadian tuxedo?
I don't know.
Probably not. No.
You don't know denim on denim as a Canadian tuxedo?
Wait, do you say denim?
Maybe
Denim
during
on
certain
denim.
times of the year, maybe. I mean, you get denim on denim people anywhere.
Denim on the people.
Yeah, it's
Denim.
just, at least where I am in the country, it is often known as the Canadian tuxedo.
I mean,
Denim-
I knew girls who would make anything out of denim.
Okay, hold on. First off,
Versus
The thong.
hold on,
was a
wait,
terrible
hold
idea.
on. Denim, right?
Denim.
So,
denim.
okay, hold on. So, is Nelson Mandela still in jail? And is it Bernstein Bears or is it Bernstein Stain Bears? What time period? Stein. So, Denim, when did this happen? I
I
thought it
didn't
was
say
denim.
denim. I said denim on denim.
Oh, okay. Whew. I was scared. I thought I jumped on another timeline. I was like, fuck.
No, I said
Again? Shit.
I said denim on denim.
Yeah, I was like, well, what the fuck is a denim?
But yeah, it's
Oh, no.
one of those things that it's just like, okay, yeah, that is apparently a Canadian tuxedo.
Yeah, our kids are a little bit too into the woke shit at the moment. Like, not all, but you wouldn't really see them doing the denim. Not enough rainbows.
Clearly,
could.
you haven't seen bedazzled jeans.
True.
Why would someone have
Do you forget the 90s?
Yes. And for good reason.
Because that was always what was being bedazzled.
Yeah. God damn it.
It was always bedazzling jeans.
Who is bedazzling? Is anybody bedazzling jeans nowadays?
Hopefully not.
I hope not. Unless they want to add +1 to the armor.
Although, I'd prefer if someone's bedazzling jeans to bejazzling.
Ew.
Did you forget bejazzling was a thing?
Oh, wait, hold on. What is... Wait. Did you say...
Bejazzle?
Vajazzle?
Yes, bejazzling.
J-A-Z...
V as in victory.
You're right. Victory.
A as in alpha.
Okay, so...
G as in gorilla.
Oh. All right.
Vajazzle.
So a Japanese agrees with a gorilla?
No, because it's V as in victory, not J as in Japan.
I'm sorry,
Or
I got the whole thing, mixed up. So it was
Yes, clam dazzling.
oh jeez.
So I wouldn't mind that. I don't mind the little artwork on my breakfast.
On the breakfast? Oh no.
What?
Again, I stand by bedazzling jeans far better than vajazzling.
You're down there. You want to see a little artwork. Hey, like taking a marker and writing your name on it. Sign your artwork.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
with bedazzled or vajazzled.
Oh yeah, it is dumb as shit when people buy torn jeans.
Yes, it is fucking dumb.
But what's for breakfast?
Clams.
Oh.
And yes, Raymond, vajazzling. Am I the only person that remembered vajazzling becoming a thing?
Look, dude, I just fucking found out what sounding is. I don't need any extra.
Is it going to be a lesson of stupid ideas?
Huh?
Do I need to do
wait,
a
there's
master
more.
class of weird shit that happened?
No, I'm good.
It doesn't have to be.
Saying, why do you hate us? What is this hatred for? Why do you hate us?
Because if I need to know something, then it needs to be shared.
Why must we suffer?
Because I was forced to suffer first.
But I think
who injured you?
I think state law requires
The
you to
world.
offer us an safe exit before the ride progresses. So
Nah, fuck that. All the doors are sealed. This is a hall burning.
fuck.
He's gonna take us down the ship. He's Willy Wonka on that ride where he fucking goes nuts through the gates of hell.
First we burn the pig. Damn. Oh shit.
Man, the original Willy Wonka was too fucking good to get the shit that's spawned because of it.
Yeah. It's sad though.
Gene Wilder was just fucking perfect for that part.
Gene Wilder is a national treasure. I need to look up, make sure he's still alive. I don't remember. I hope he is.
He's dead.
I think he's dead too, and I don't want him to be.
He was in
he did.
many
He did
great
die.
movies.
Yeah, he died in 2016.
Yep.
It's a bullshit. Wow, his real name was Jerome Silberman.
Makes sense.
Yeah, he was Jewish. Yep.
Yep, very much so. But yeah, he was in so many fucking amazing movies.
Him and fucking Richard Pryor when they were together. Yeah.
Mhm. Silver Streak, great movie.
Yep.
Him with Zero Mostel and the producers.
Oh,
Yeah.
him with Cleon Little and Cleon Johnson and fucking God damn it. Jesus fucking Christ is one of my favorite movies. It is not coming to mind. Oh God, Jesus, I'm getting old.
Clearly, it isn't one of your favorite movies.
It is.
Gotten it.
Oh, we got you, bro.
Oh boy, where all the white women at?
Start the Revolution Without
Blazing
Me.
Saddles.
Classic. Yes. Blazing Saddles.
Oh
It's
Jesus,
fantastic.
I'm getting
Start-
old.
You've seen Start the Revolution Without Me, right?
No, I haven't seen Start the Revolution without me.
It's another one that was just an absolute classic with him. It takes place during the French Revolution with two sets of identical twins.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, I don't know why it's always phrased as two sets of identical twins. With a set of identical twins.
Mm-hmm.
One is an aristocrat, one is a peasant. They swap places as everything goes to shit. And it is fantastic. Gene Wilder plays both twins.
I remember the Little Prince. He was such an ass.
I believe it. Gene Wilder? Yeah. Yep.
Plays both twins. He plays both Claude and Pierre. Let me double check.
I like that you can look at
Claude and Philippe.
Philippe. Okay. I remembered it began with a P.
You can look at the different timelines of when these movies came out, and be it the 70s or the 60s or the 80s or the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
There were a trope of actors and comedians that really did
absolutely yeoman work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Another good one. It's not quite as good as the others that we've mentioned, but still a really good one. The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes' smarter brother. Where he plays
Sigerson Holmes.
Yes, Sigerson Holmes. Who's very pissed off that everyone thinks of his other brothers.
Mycroft and Sherlock.
Yep. Mycroft, of course, being the canonical brother of Holmes that Holmes several times says is much smarter than he is.
I like what they did with Mycroft in the BBC with Cumberdick or Cumberbatch, whatever the hell his name is.
Mm-hmm.
He was part of the British government, which was fucking hilarious to me.
Oh, that's a fairly standard thing where he is a minor functionary. And that's the thing that annoys Holmes about Mycroft is that his brother is smarter than he is. But his brother has absolutely no sense of ambition. So his brother just goes along with whatever the fuck is happening. He's normally a government official. In the original, he's a government official. In that iteration, he's a government official. And he's just very much this is the way things are done, so I'm going to do them. And Holmes is always going, you know that this isn't the most efficient way. Yeah, but this is the way it's done, so why bother? And Mycroft always has a very comfortable life where he does a hell of a lot of work that for him is extremely easy. He gets well compensated. He's happily married. He just lacks all ambition and all energy.
Mm-hmm.
And the quote that's normally brought up about Mycroft Holmes from Sherlock Holmes is, he has no ambition, no energy. He will not even go out of his way to verify his own solutions, and would rather be considered wrong than to take the trouble to prove himself right. Again and again, I have taken a problem to him and have received an explanation which has afterwards proved to be the correct one, and yet he was absolutely incapable of working out the practical points. So that's the thing that is constantly the bit of grit in between Mycroft and Sherlock. It's that Mycroft is smarter than Sherlock.
Mm-hmm.
He's more intuitive than Sherlock, but while Sherlock is willing to go out of his way in order to get the information, in order to prove himself right and prove himself smarter, Mycroft has no interest in it.
It makes sense for his card. He just wants to get on by.
Yep. The other couple of lines that are always about Mycroft is he's the most indispensable man in the country, but he receives neither honor nor title because he's just happy living quietly.
Makes sense.
It's such a fantastic character. And there's always the one moment where Mycroft ends up taking more of an active role, which is immediately after Sherlock is believed dead. Normally that's when Mycroft is like, okay, what fucking happened to my brother?
Thank you, Jesus. All right, so, what I just saw, just
You
made me
looked up
feel a little better.
Majaslin, didn't you?
No, so all right, so in Baltimore, ages many moons ago, this girl was killed by her ex-boyfriend. Like, all right, so they had DNA evidence in the car. They had DNA evidence on her of him, and they had he had journal entries with texting her like how he was going to harm her, like, you know.
Oh, is this the one Asian honor roll girl and the black boyfriend?
Muslim, boyfriend.
Yeah, he was black, but his family was, I want to say he was like second generation American. I think his parents immigrated and then he was born in America.
All right, but the brilliance that is the bitch Marlon Mosby. After I think one of the Kardashians like lobbied for his release, and she got him off. She got him released on, you know, whatever reasons, like technicality, or like, oh well, they were railroading him because he was black or whatnot. He's Muslim. And I just read that the Maryland Supreme Court reinstates his murder conviction. Motherfucker's going back to prison. And I couldn't be fucking happier. One, because Marlon Mosby is a utter piece of shit. Doing the Freddie Gray thing, like, she tried to convict for everybody in that murder, she tried to convict the two officers that arrested him, the night shift supervisor, the paddy wagon driver, I think an EMT, the on-site like EMT, if I'm not mistaken. And she couldn't get them. She overcharged everybody. Like, she used the testimony of somebody in the wagon that said, oh, he was fine when they put him in, you know. And then he told that, oh, well, he was banging his head against the goddamn the paddy wagon, you know. Like, I don't know how we all strapped in. I'm fine. He banging his head against the paddy wagon, you know. And then when they get him out, you know, he all fucked up. And they do take him to the hospital immediately, because that's what they got to do.
Yep.
She had that. She also had like PPE loans and shit. You know, personal payroll protection loans that she took out. She had like 4 or 5 houses. Oh, so this bitch she had the Black Caucus after her conviction. She had the Black Caucus send a letter to Biden on her behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't she send him to go watch the movie?
What?
The Black Cauldron.
No, the Black Caucus. So in the United States Senate, there's literally a Black Caucus, right?
Yeah, no, it's a bomb of a joke.
Yeah, but she's a bitch. This is a piece of shit, and God's good. I hope he fucking rots.
Yeah. And the disgusting thing was she was trying to get him out of prison when the girl that he murdered functionally said, hey, if I disappear, it's probably him. Every bit of evidence pointed to him. None of it was like, oh, that's really shaky, circumstantial evidence. No, it's like we were able to track the GPS of his phone to the exact burial site through triangulation. We were able to trace every step of his path there, every step of his path away. Here's where he dropped this evidence, which that matches up with this bit of cell data. Here's where he dropped that evidence, which matches up with this bit of cell data. It was dead to rights, and they were trying to say that, oh, he was just completely stitched up by police because he was a young black man. No, he wasn't.
And again, again, he from what I was reading just now, he has 30. He has a life sentence plus 30.
Yep.
He ain't never seen sunshine outside those bars.
Oh, and you left out the scummiest part of it, Tier.
I did?
Yeah, so when it comes
they tried to file as juvenile. Yeah.
They tried to charge him as a juvenile when he shouldn't have been tried as a juvenile. Also, whenever there's any sort of effort in order to clear someone like this or to consider someone for parole, the family of the victim is supposed to be notified and given time to present their point of view. The family, which her parents were first generation, didn't really speak English. So her brother was the one that translated for her parents. They were told less than a week before he was being hurt. Trying to guarantee that they would not be able to show up and give their testimony against giving him time served and letting him out.
That's some bullshit.
Yep. It's absolute horseshit. And it was something that she knowingly did. And there's no doubt that she knowingly did. Because it's shit that she had to go out of her way in order to do.
I wonder. So she got reelected in 2018, but lost her reelection campaign. And then she was also on charges for perjury and mortgage fraud charges. I thought with the payment roll protection. She was convicted of 2 counts of perjury on November 2023, and 1 count of mortgage fraud February 6, 24. But it doesn't say if she got time. I could have swore Biden did something.
There have been a shit ton of people that have been trying to petition the current admin to get them out of jail scot-free. There's the super mayor, there's this one.
Okay, wait a minute. All right. So in February 2014, Mosby Defense Counsel filed a motion to acquit, contending that the mortgage fraud didn't happen in Maryland and claims that the government brought the case in the wrong venue. During the trial, court security officers found to have made inappropriate and derogatory comments about Mosby. According to a letter from her attorneys unsealed in February, the letter asked if the court to provide information whether jurors had entered the courthouse that day through the same security check-in area. So they tried to say, the security officers were talking shit about me. Fuck you. Faced 40 years of incarceration for her guilty verdict for fraud. Appeals are not granted. 16, the judge overseeing the case upheld Mosby's mortgage fraud conviction, rejecting the defense's motion to acquit. Mosby was ordered to surrender her passport ahead of sentencing, according to media. Prior to hearing, supporters arrived by bus, packed the courtroom, go to hell. Ahead of her sentencing, she appeared on the readout, which she declared herself innocent and called on Joe Biden to pardon her, asserting that she had been politically targeted, that proceedings had broken her psychologically, professionally, spiritually, and financially. She was sentenced to 12 months of home confinement, 100 hours of community service, and 3 years supervised release in connection with her perjury. Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, she got tapped on the wrist. Not even a slap. She got tapped.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you.
Yeah, it's a refrain that is becoming rather common currently. And one moment, I need to quickly use the bathroom.
But this is some bull fucking shit. I hope they burn. I hope she burns in the hottest hell imaginable. So how you guys doing?
Pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm good. So a very open and shut case then. It was a really open and shut case, but they brought it back up. Sorry. I'm sorry for monopolizing the show with that little diatribe. It just pissed me off.
You're good. That'll happen to all of us.
So what else has happened in northern Cuba?
Well, they're pretty much hunting down the companies that are outsourcing all their workers, as apparently Trudeau has turned tail on that. So I don't know how serious they're taking that, but I hope so. No offense.
I got a question. Do y'all have term limits for your prime minister?
Not the same way you guys do. He could get reelected as many times as the tools who elect him want to elect him.
Oh, that's not good.
No. I don't think he has a chance in hell, though. It's just one of those things, anytime you look at the numbers, even his own side is kind of like, nah, you've kind of lost your usefulness.
How many times has he been elected? So, if you don't mind, again,
technically 3, because he pulled an early election and he just had enough of the numbers. But we had some of those moments, kind of like you guys did back during January 6th, where you were like, "Ha, how did this happen?" Ah, that was kind of a little shifty there. Going to bed with really good numbers and then waking up to like, "Oh, we lost." Huh.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
That was a little shifty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wasn't that at about the same time as well?
Yep.
And it was one of like 4 elections that had very similar bits of
Inconsistencies.
Yeah. Because the same thing happened when Lulu got elected in Brazil.
All right, this is my biggest thing for our election. I'll continue to say this because it's fucking true. Now, as many times as the Democrats wanted to go at Trump, you're telling me if they honestly believed they won fair and square, that they would not rub it in his face.
Yep.
Like, really rub it in his fucking face. I mean, I'm talking about, oh, you want a third recount? Go right ahead. You want a 4th one? We'll do a 4th one. You know?
You want to run down all this shit? Have it be properly investigated fully? Okay.
Go ahead. We'll wait. Again, if they honestly believed.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I know they were cheating. Like they didn't take that shot, that chance to take them down a peg.
It's kind of like how the Democrats always cite the same, well, look at the election where Bush beat Gore. That one was fishy. Everyone knows that one was fishy. And I'm going, okay, so what was the request from Gore? What did he want? Well, he wanted a specific section to be recounted. Okay, so was that a lot? Was it like an entire voting district? No. Okay, so it was a part of a voting district. Yes. Okay. Was this allowed by Florida law? No. It's explicitly stated that you cannot do that. Okay. So how is it a problem that his request for a recount of a extremely specific partial voting district wasn't allowed when that is explicitly stated that you cannot do it? Florida has it on the books that you can ask for a complete recount or none at all. So if he didn't want a complete recount, then he doesn't get one.
Mm-hmm.
And saying, well, we don't want the full one, we just want the partial. Yeah, the partial is not something that they do. They do complete recount. They have it in their books that they will only do complete recounts. And they're perfectly happy to do complete recounts.
Again, it was fishy, and you just want to recount the area that you believe you could get the most.
Mm-hmm.
It's all fucked up, honestly.
Yep.
And
the last time that there wasn't a claim that, well, the Republicans stole the election was Reagan.
No, last time the Republic they claimed that was Stacey Abrams.
I'm saying the last time that a Republican won, that they didn't try to claim the Republican had stolen the election, was Reagan during his absolute landslide.
Yeah, and they'll probably claim Trump stole it when he has the absolute landslide.
If he does, I have no doubt that they would, because it's a routine thing that if a Republican wins, well, the election was stolen. He's not my president. He's not a real president. Oh, you mean the Manchurian candidate? The pretender in chief? And then the one time that has happened within recent memory of, well, this was bullshit. Yeah, they wanted to do a partial recount rating, not a full recount. They were told that they couldn't. So they tried to do a challenge through the courts to do a partial, but they went, okay, fine, if we can't do a partial, do the full recount. And then the full recount didn't come out with the result that they wanted. So they said, do a full recount again. And the result wasn't what they wanted. So they said, do a full recount again. And eventually, yeah, the court stepped in and went, how many fucking recounts are you going to have people do? Well, we weren't allowed to do our specific recount that we wanted. Yeah, it's against the law. You can't do an illegal recount just because that's the area that you want to recount. It's an all
double
or
standards,
nothing.
no standards.
Yep. So yeah, they eventually did have to step in to stop the recounts.
Again, double standards, no standards.
Mm-hmm.
There's no standards like double standards.
Hey, no standards like double standards, 'cause double standards, something.
It's become such a standard thing that people just go, yep. But that isn't as bad as people are making out to sound. What do you mean it isn't as bad as people are making it out to sound? You just agreed that this is what's happening. Yep. And that's what people are saying is happening, right? Yep. So it's as bad as people are saying it is. Nope.
I want to wake up one day and I want my country to be like it was 10 years ago. I was happier then.
Though it does drive me crazy when there's also the constant, well, things were better in the past. No, things weren't better in the past. Things might have been simpler in the past, but simpler and better are not synonyms.
Mm-hmm.
And in many cases, simpler is fucking worse. Because it is simpler to only have one option of bread that is either there or not. It's better to have 67 options of bread that are always there. I would much rather have decision paralysis from too many options than you have one option or you starve.
I dislike that because I do in certain situations I do get decision paralysis. It's fucking annoying.
Yeah, decision paralysis is annoying. But again, decision paralysis is a fuck ton better than it's there or it's not. You only have one choice. Doesn't matter if you don't like it. This is the one choice.
Yeah, I think Adam's falling asleep.
Yep. Nighty night. Have good sleeps.
Let me click the mic over here.
What, you don't want to give him subliminal messages? Be like,
you don't want to hit. You don't want to hear his smooth snoring. The sound of
No, the only person that I will shame 100% of the time when he falls asleep on stream is Donkey.
Yeah.
I don't even shame Donkey. I've fallen asleep on stream before. Shit happens.
Yeah.
But
I'm not even shaming.
There's a difference between falling asleep because shit happens or falling asleep only when it gets towards the very end. And falling asleep almost every time, beginning, middle, or end, there is no rhyme or reason.
I've learned that I can't sleep. All right, so if I'm on stream and I'm in my bed, I'm going to fall asleep. So I don't join streams while I'm in the bed. Like I'm smart enough to realize that. Like that is a recipe for disaster.
Like I said, I can get that sometimes people fall asleep. That's perfectly fine. When it's every time, and it is at various points, including there have been times where I am actively talking to him, and he's responding back and forth a few times, and then the next thing is I'll say something and I just hear... And the motherfucker fell asleep during a single sentence response. And at that point, yeah, you get the piss taken out of you.
I'm not. Yeah, I am. That's fucking hilarious. God damn it! I just put it there.
But it is getting towards the 2-hour mark. And it feels like we've slightly started to run down in conversation. Would you guys agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit.
Is there any topic that you guys desperately wanted to talk about before we close out?
I can't think of any.
No, not really.
The only one that I wanted to bring up, just because I found it fucking hilarious, was the shade from Newsom towards the DNC. Did you guys hear this recently?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, do you guys want to explain it, or shall I?
You can go ahead and explain it. You do it so eloquently.
So, in the run-up to the election, in the Democratic primaries, when Biden was still in the running, Newsom kind of made his bones going around the country stumping for Biden. And he wanted Biden to win, because if Biden won, then that means in 2028, there wouldn't be a Democratic incumbent running, which would be perfect time for him, because his time as governor is going to end in about the same time as the election would be coming up. So he would be able to end his time as governor, start campaigning to become president. He'll be a big name, and he'd have decent chance, to his mind, of becoming president. But then the DNC pulled the rug out from everyone, and they had Biden step down. And I say the DNC did this because there's rather credible accounts that the Obamas and several other party bosses, as it were, approached Biden and said, you either step down or we're removing you from office.
You step or get 25th.
Yep. And the decision was to step down. The moment that he stepped down, they declared that the heir apparent would be Kamala, which meant that Newsom couldn't even vie for a vice presidential.
Same states.
Yep, same state. So if they technically, there's no law against being from the same state. It's tradition. Though the thing is that if you have two candidates from the same state, if they win their home state, those states or that state's votes are nullified.
Oh, that would be bad.
So you could win California, but both of you are from California, you don't get the electoral points.
And I can see why that'd be a bad thing.
Yep. So that means that he functionally can't be VP, which pissed him off. The fact that there was no campaigning, there was no actual run to see if Kamala had the party support, pissed people off. So he was asked after the Democratic National, or right before the Democratic National Convention, after Kamala was announced as the heir apparent, to do one of the speaking segments at the convention. And it was like the first or second day of the convention, prime time hours at like 7 p.m. And he declined because he had a school opening ceremony early the morning of that day. If he had wanted to, he could have gotten to the DNC, given his talk there. He chose that he didn't want to. And then after the convention, he was asked, so what do you think about the swap, was how it was phrased. And he went, oh yes, the swap, the entirely democratic, completely above board swap that happened and has caused Kamala Harris to be named the Democrat presidential candidate. That swap, yeah. Oh yeah, it is definitely above board. And it was given in such a sarcastic and I fucking hate this manner that everyone's going, oh, he snubbed Kamala. And yeah, he did. Because Kamala is frustrating his political aspirations.
He was never going to be elected president any fucking way.
But he thinks that he would have been.
All right, so, all right, this is just me talking. There's shit in your streets, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You are literally killing fast food workers' jobs with your $20 minimum wage. Mm-hmm. You know, how on God's green earth are you going to be elected? Because you'd have to pull in. They would just point to your opponent would just point to your state, California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like California is such a shit show that it's hilarious that they think that, or that he thinks that he has a legitimate chance.
Shit, he was smoked by DeSantis.
Yep.
He goes, "Oh, what are you doing? I just pulled up this map, a shit map of one of your cities, because that's what your city, the city in your state has."
Mm-hmm. And he got so desperate to get his tax base back that he started paying for commercials in other states, going, it's not too late to return to California.
It gets even better. He tried to say, "Oh, we'll tax you for 10 years after you leave the state."
Yep.
And I'm thinking, like, no, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere on, again, God's green earth would that be illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Again, California. Yeah. Newsom would never be elected anything. And I hope and pray they don't elect him to school board president.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he disappears into the annals of history where he belongs. as a fucking failure.
Yeah, it's such an absolute shit show. But it's hilarious. When he's being a catty bitch to his own party, it's hilarious.
Yeah. What he needed to do? He probably should have kissed the ring and hoped for a cabinet position.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is that every cabinet position would be a step down.
Oh shit! Did you hear how Kamala or the DNC tried to buy Cornel West and Jill Stein's to get them to drop out?
Yeah, I've heard that she's been trying to leverage that position and get them to drop.
The DNC also tried to get Jill Stein removed off the ballots in a state, and the state Supreme Court decided no.
Mm-hmm.
So she's desperate. Like she, honestly, Trump's the problem is Trump's base is pretty solid. Hers is she's the one with the infighting.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have people in Michigan like saying "fuck you" unless you support the Palestinians, but she doesn't because she has to support the Jews because they have a lot of fucking money.
And also, it's the right thing to fucking do in the conflict.
Oh yeah, in the conflict, yes. But I'm just saying that as far as like the DNC goes, they're not looking at right or wrong. Who had the money? You know.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's infuriating.
It's infuriating, and I say this about the issue in Palestine and Israel. I say glass the fucking area. I want you to turn that motherfucker into one big ass strip mall. I want my Dippin' Dots next to my Wetzel's Pretzels in Palestine. I want it to be the scummiest place on earth because that's where all the fucking strip malls are. One big ass fucking parking lot.
You just want Baltimore to have company.
Go to hell. And yes, misery loves company.
But yeah, one of the things that drives me crazy and has throughout the entire conflict thus far are Israel's committing genocide. No, it isn't. If Israel wanted to kill as many people as it possibly could,
Jewish space laser,
we wouldn't be seeing 1, 2, I think it's only 2%, or did it get up to 3% now? Fatalities for the city.
But see, it's also a PR game. Oh, they're attacking a school. They're attacking a hospital with innocents in it. No, they're fucking hiding in that hospital and making it into a battleground. And honestly, you're the type of people that strap bombs to your kids and, if you die for this cause, you get to go see Allah.
And Frosted, the thing about saying that they should join forces is people like to say that they aren't, but have you ever actually listened to Spencer on what his ideal economics is? Has anyone?
No, I really don't find Richard Spencer appealing.
Yeah, but I don't find him appealing either. But have you listened to what his economic ideal is?
No, go ahead, enlighten me.
So it is a strong, centralized government.
Okay.
That has control over large sweeps of the economy.
So he wants Nazism.
That provides for the people that he views as the citizenry. There's a system that we've known by this set of characteristics. Oh, he also wanted to have it so that his ideal form of government, where it would functionally be a unitary party.
So essentially, he wants a dictatorship.
Well, essentially, he's doing exactly what a lot of people have claimed that he's doing, which is he wants a fascist economy. And
yeah, I like a free market.
The thing is that people will try to say that, well, fascism, that it's a form of capitalism. No. If you're talking fascism is it markets itself and has always marketed itself and has always explained itself as the third path. And its third path is made up of functionally fusing two different schools of thought economically. The two different schools of thought are mercantilism. Are you familiar with what mercantilism is?
Not off the top of my head, but go ahead and enlighten me.
Mercantilism was effectively the progenitor of capitalism.
Okay.
But capitalism is a positive sum economic model.
Okay.
Do you know what positive sum means?
Enlighten me, Sanguine.
So with a positive sum, you can have three different types of sums when it comes to economic systems. You could have an economic system that is considered a negative sum economic system.
Okay.
Which means that on average, everyone will get poor.
Okay.
You can have a zero sum, which means that for every person that gets richer, there's a counterbalancing shift in wealth that causes other people to get poorer. So if I gain $50, it doesn't have to be you lose $50, but if you, Jen, and I are in our own little micro economy, if I gain $50 and we're functioning under a zero-sum system, then you and Jen will have collectively lost $50 in order for me to gain it.
Okay.
A positive sum model means that the change in wealth can be positive. So you can have someone gain money without anyone losing money. And not only can you have someone gain money without other people losing money, but you can have someone gain money and everyone else gain money at the same time.
Okay.
Or gain wealth at the same time, rather than money, let's say wealth. This is how capitalism is set out, because wealth is somewhat personally subjective, since the value of everything is a subjective measure.
Okay.
For instance, if I've just made my dinner and I've eaten my dinner and I have leftovers, the value of those leftovers is fairly low. But if you're hungry, you don't have any dinner made, in fact, you don't even know where you're going to get dinner, and you see that I have leftovers, and I'm currently deciding whether or not I want to just store them away, maybe get to them, or I probably won't be able to get to them, so fuck it, I'm just going to have to throw them away. My leftovers are worth more to you than they are to me.
Okay.
And you could very easily say those leftovers are worth $20 or are worth more than $20 to you. So you'd be happier getting those leftovers than you would be having $20 in your wallet.
Okay.
And then you could go, hey, Sanguine, I'll give you a 20. To you, the leftovers are worth more than that 20. To me, that 20 is worth more than my leftovers. So we make a deal. Both of us have come out on top of that deal.
Yes.
Because you have something that you view as more valuable, I have something that I view as more valuable. So it's a positive sum. Both of us gain from that.
Yes.
That's how capitalism works. Free market capitalism, every deal is made such that both participants in that deal end up having the better end of the deal. So, mercantilism was the predecessor to capitalism. Mercantilism was a zero-sum system.
Mm-hmm.
And mercantilism focused on enriching a motherland or fatherland at the expense of or for other nations and areas. So think old school colonialism, where you had the Spanish, they went to South America. They didn't build up a single fucking factory in South America. All they did was they started getting as much when it came to resources as they possibly could. We're going to mine mountains.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to plant an obscene amount of crops.
Mm-hmm.
And you aren't going to process goods here. No, you're going to send the raw goods back to Spain. Spain will then process the goods. And then Spain will have those goods at a cheaper rate. And any goods beyond what they can internally consume, they will sell to other groups, including their own colonies.
Okay.
Benefiting Spain, crippling their colonies. That's what mercantilism was. Mercantilism was a focus on improving the home nation at the expense of everyone else. Because it was a zero sum, so the only way for them to gain wealth is for other people to lose wealth. And mercantilism also had a system of stewardship when it came to businesses. So, you know about the Crown Industries?
Yes.
Those were very mercantilist conceptions, because what it was the Crown wanted to have these businesses. The Crown didn't want to have to deal with the day-to-day running of those businesses. So they would give people writs to command a sector of the economy effectively. And that would be a official monopoly that person would hold over that sector.
Yes.
If they did well, they were rewarded. If they did poorly, the government would shit can them and find someone else who's willing to pay for the writ.
So they would essentially, oh, yeah, no, you're fucking up. You're
Yep.
right.
So,
go home.
Fascist economic systems are effectively a combination of mercantilism and socialism. When you actually look at their structuring, one of the main things that is an extremely socialist structure is the fascist conception of a corporation. We use corporation just to mean business.
Yes.
But the fascists used corporation interchangeably with guild and syndicate. And
why?
Syndicate, well, because in the fascist conception, it meant the same thing. The fascist conception of a corporation is a grouping of all the workers and business operators within a sector of the economy that represents all of their desires as well as the party's position. So effectively, it's a massive government-run union of everyone in a sector that has control over that sector. So it's a synonym of the old school guilds. It's a synonym of the syndicalist syndicate. And also it is a functional synonym of the Soviet from the Soviets.
Okay.
So you had the corporation model that was paired up with the stewardship model. So you have the socialist and the mercantilist systems combined in order to equal the fascist, because the fascists thought that capitalism was inherently tainted, that socialism had been tainted but was not inherently tainted. So they came up with a way that they viewed as purifying socialism and going to an older system than capitalism to pull what they viewed as the beneficial aspects of it.
Okay.
But people will constantly say, no, fascism was inherently capitalist. No, it wasn't. It was inherently against capitalism. The entire economy was under the indirect control of the government. I say indirect, though I started out saying direct, because when it comes to the fascist model, like I said, they had that stewardship aspect, but all of the stewards that they named for industries were party members.
Sort of like how China is.
Kind of like how China is, or how the Soviet Union was, where, yeah, the head of the MiG Design Bureau was an individual, but that individual was a loyal party member.
So only members of the party could own businesses, in a sense.
Yeah, it looks indirect, but in function, it's more direct.
But it is all a bunch of bullshit.
Yep. And whiskey has an E if it's of Irish descent.
leave it to froth to fuck with Sanguine. It's just communism with different coats of paint. Commies and fascists are two sides of the same coin. Totally agree.
They end up functioning very similarly. The major difference is that communists, by the aspects of their ideology, are innately global. So communists will try to push for more of the world to become communist. And they view that communism can't ever really happen until the entire world is communist.
Whereas, in other words, they have to bring everyone under their umbrella, or no one is under their umbrella.
Yes. Whereas fascists, they are nationalist by nature. So their ideology is a fuck you, we can do it ourselves. And we don't give a shit if you follow our ideology. We just need to be able to run it ourselves. And oh yeah, in order to run it, we need land. So we're going to take the land that we need. Fuck you.
Either salute my flag or die.
Well, it isn't even either salute my flag or die. It's either you are part of the motherland or the fatherland, depending on which nation it is, and therefore you can become part of our group, or you will functionally be a colony unless we don't need you, and then we're just going to ignore you. Which is why you had certain fascist groups, the Italian fascists and the Nazis, were very big on expansion because they needed certain resources that they did not have access to. Whereas the Franco-fascists didn't really have the same, we're going to expand into all our surrounding neighbors, because they had much stronger supply lines.
Okay.
And they didn't need to take over chunks of their surrounding nations in order to be able to drive what they were trying to do. And the Franco-fascists were able to last until the death of Franco due to that. Whereas the Italian and the German, they got taken out in the war.
The Vatican should be known as the Godfatherland.
Nice.
Either you're a slave or you're dead. Pretty much. People are so annoying. Here's two options. Please pick one of these two.
Yeah, if you are in lands that they want to expand to, those are your two options. If you're outside of lands that they want to expand to, they don't give a shit what you do. Just don't fuck with us and let us take over these lands that we want to expand to. If you try to stop us from expanding, fuck you.
Fuck you, we'll kill you.
Yep. Which is not a noble aspect. That isn't something that I'm going, oh, yeah. So they're really understandable and people that you can empathize with. No, fuck them. But there's that difference between a stated goal of we need to have everyone in the world be brought under our umbrella, and once we get the resources that we need, fuck everywhere else. We don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the Nazis had more of an expansionist bent because they also had the racial extermination aspect, so they had to expand into other areas in order to complete their extermination.
And see, this is why I'm a fucking isolationist. I don't believe we should be helping anybody. I don't want to let me sit in my sandbox and play. You sit in your sandbox and play, and don't bother me.
Yeah, I'm not an isolationist. I think that we need to be smarter about when and how we get involved.
No, I'm an isolation on the ground that I have a philosophy. I can't tell you your house is dirty if mine isn't clean.
What we also need to do, to my mind, is we need to get a hell of a lot better at, you want us to come in? Okay. What are you doing in that area that you want us to get involved in?
And
you aren't doing shit? Me? You aren't doing shit in that area? Why should I be sticking my neck out for things that you're concerned about when you aren't sticking your neck out for shit that you're concerned about? If you want me to stick out my neck, you better have showed me that you're sticking out yours.
I'm more of a, how does it benefit me type of guy.
That becomes part of it as well. But there are things that I would be willing to take a long view on.
Mm-hmm.
That, yeah, it might not have immediate benefit, but it's an investment. And a good example of something that I would think is an investment would be something like Taiwan. Yeah, during the war, they might not be able to benefit us. They're the best producer of high-grade computer chips in the world. Keeping them free and having them indebted to us, that's really fucking beneficial in the long run.
Yes.
But again, it becomes, what are you doing? Are you just trying to get us to fight your battle for you? Fuck you. We aren't fighting your battle for you. We will help you fight your battle. We might join in the battle with you. But it's not going to be, this is your battle, you sit out on the sideline, and
reap all the rewards.
We fight and die. Yeah.
Again, this is my belief. We are turning a paper tiger into an armed tiger. Ukraine is not our fucking friend. It is not our ally. It is a beggar trying to get out, sucking on our nipple, trying to get our milk while our children starve.
The only problem that I have with how we've handled Ukraine is we should have, from the very beginning, done far more lend-lease and far less giving.
Yes. No, we should have agreed to the pact and okay, Ukraine, you can't fucking join in any talk of this.
Nah, I
Need to get
disagree. We've
access.
talked about this before where they violated their aspects of the agreement, and once they violated their aspects, we did not have to hold to ours. Because before Ukraine was even being considered for membership, the aspects that the then Soviet Union had agreed to when it came to Ukraine, they had already been violating. So if you're going to cite that agreement and say, well, the U.S. fucked up because they shouldn't have been considering Ukraine as a member to NATO. Well, no, there was criteria to that agreement. The criteria was violated.
Okay, fair enough.
Open season, and if Ukraine was going, well, we're worried that Russia might try to invade us, so we kind of want to get NATO backing. That's an entirely sensible position for Ukraine. And I've made the argument that, yeah, I can understand why Russia did some of what it did, because Russia's capital is right on its face.
A hop, skip, and a jump from Ukraine.
Yeah, it's right on its face, which is strategically vulnerable. If you look at a lot of nations, their capitals tend to be either sunk into their interior so that they have depth in their defense, or they're on a naturally defensible border. So you have...
What are we thinking?
We're on a naturally defensible border.
Well,
Washington, D.C., you have to cross the Atlantic.
And if you go through the Pacific, you have to cross, you got to go through every state from here to the Pacific. All right,
yeah,
that makes sense.
And what is the strongest navy in the world currently?
It's I know this one. It's the navy with that guy, Sam something. Cousin Sam, yeah.
It's the U.S. and then what's the second strongest navy on the book?
I do believe it's Great Britain.
No. The second strongest navy by tonnage of ships is the U.S. Maritime Museum Fleet.
Oh.
Our museums have a larger navy than countries.
Naval.
This is again by ship tonnage, not by ship number.
In the world. Business Insider 2023 ranks navies. Okay. 25 is Brazil. 24 Singapore. 23 Canada. 22 Greece. 21 Thailand. 20 Australia. 19 Iran. Really? Iran? 18 Germany. 17 Spain. Bangladesh is 16. 15 Algeria. 14 is North Korea. Really? 13 is Egypt. Taiwan is 12. Italy's 11th. Turkey is 10th. UK is 9th. Wow. I didn't see it. 8th is France. 7th is India. 6th is Japan. 5th is South Korea. 4th is Indonesia. 3rd is Russian.
Mm-hmm.
The second is China.
Yep, they list it as China because most people don't count museum fleets, but by law, most of our museum fleet is able to be easily reactivated.
Shit, China has 3 aircraft carriers, 72 submarines, 48 destroyers, 71 corvettes, 48 frigates, 91 mine countermeasures and countermine warfare ships. Damn, I'll say nipples. 127 offshore patrol vessels and 11 amphibious assault vessels. America has 11 aircraft carriers, 68 submarines, 22 cruisers, 70 destroyers, 21 corvettes, 8 mine and countermine warfare ships, 10 offshore patrol vessels, and 31 amphibious assault vehicles. Or assault vessels, sorry. It has no frigates and has a medium hull age of 23 years. It's also said they have 67 additional units on order or assigned. Damn. If this was a spacecraft, this would be an interesting battle to see.
Mm-hmm.
Translate that to spacecraft. So you got three carrier vessels, 72 behemoths, 48 destroyers, 71 corvettes, 44 frigates. We'll say that offshore patrol are fighters and amphibious or landing craft, troop platforms. Man, that'd be an interesting battle. Wow. I might do that. I might take the world's navy and translate this shit to space fleets. Russia has 1 frigate, 83 corvettes, 28 mine and countermine warfare ships, 27 offshore patrol vessels, and 21 amphibious assault vessels. I'm gonna have to save this. This is a good one. Sorry about that. I'm geeking out.
Not a problem. I'm quickly doing a count.
What tonnage?
Of the number of ships that are from the mid 1900s on.
Wait a minute. Russia also has 58 submarines, 12 destroyers, 4 cruisers. But they're also showing their age, so these must be old vessels. Yeah, the median hull age is 30 years. So they have more vessels than they don't have any carriers, but they have more vessels. It's just that their vessels are older. Huh.
Oh, also, there's one of these. Let me quickly write down this number so I can pick up where I'm counting again. One of the most amusing elements of our maritime museum fleet is we have a German U-boat that we shoved in the Midwest.
Yes.
Because we could.
Okay.
Yeah, we took the U-505 and we shoved it in Chicago.
Huh. Why?
Because we fucking could.
And it's a fucking museum.
Yeah. It's a museum piece.
That has to be ultimate insult.
Yeah. We shoved it in the middle of Chicago. So, also, We have a captured Soviet ship as well.
Yep, in
Which
1954, the U was donated to the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, Illinois.
Yep. We also have, like I said, a Soviet one, which is the B-39.
I-42. Bingo. Must not get my joke.
Oh, I'm going back to counting the number of ships. I'm currently at 97.
For the Maritime Fleet?
For the Maritime Fleet, ships that are from the early to mid 1900s and on. Or not 1900s. No, 1900s. So from like 19... I think 10 was the oldest, but it had been retrofitted during the 40s. So it's really a 1940s hull.
All right, Sanguine, I'm getting sleepy.
6, 7, 108, 109, 110, 112. Oh, sorry, 111, 112, 113, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 118 in this one list that I have that is not an exhaustive list. Because these are specifically ones that are under the military museum ship fleets. So these aren't counting the non-military museum ship fleets, which a lot of the military ships are no longer in the military museum ship fleets. So this would be like the Navy museum ships and the Coast Guard museum ships, but then there's a shit ton of others. And yeah, we're north of like 120 in just those two. And those include a shit ton of battleships and submarines. And the battleships, if I remember correctly, all the battleships in the Military Maritime Museum fleet are ordered to stay in a state that they can be easily reactivated.
Okay.
But you're getting tired, and Adam zonked out, and it's been a little bit since Jen has said anything.
I've been here the whole time.
Oh.
I'm always here. In silence.
Sorry,
So,
we're geeking out.
Shall we go around the horn for parting words?
Okay.
Sure.
Who wants to go first?
If you're passionate about saying we devour him, don't let him devour you.
Yeah.
You will become dinner.
Afuero.
Those are your parting words?
Yep.
Okay. So I'll go with courage and perseverance have a magical talisman before which obstacles vanish into air. And with that, have a good night, all. The zoo is closed.
Bye.
Bye.
And now I click this.